All right. Let's see. All right. So this is a little extreme all the way around. The lighting is extreme. My makeup is a little extreme. My hair is a little extreme. My hair got bigger than usual. And you may not be able to see this, but I'm in danger of sitting on my hair. So this whole thing is part of that whole effort of getting the video right. And you see I have to sit up really straight. My posture is not the best. I've been doing my downward dogs and planks, trying to work that out. Gotta make sure everything is all right with the red lipstick. Kind of coming off the cuff, kind of coming, having cheers, for sure. Yeah. Avant-garde. See, this is the part two, right? My first video I had on red. This one I have on green. So, the first one was political, right? And this one's a little political, but this is more on the personal side of things. And I feel a little amped, because it's more personal. Political things, like, they affect me personally, because oftentimes on the tube I feel like I'm being lied to by the news stations, by the reporters, by Associated Press, who pretty much runs everything here in the States, and they may run everything everywhere else in some connection. Maybe everyone runs everything. Don't know for sure. But I feel personally offended because I'm being lied to, you know? So, part two is about how these things affect me, or you, or anybody. But even more specifically, part two is about things that are similar to what's out there, and how it's similar to like what's going on here in my nest. This is my nest. So I wanted to make a little commentary about it because I don't tend to talk about these things too much. I'm offended and I'm affected, and I feel like a wet dog, when their hair just, I guess wet anything hair, but hair is still kind of wet. But I have been through some situations, right, where I've run into some straight up assholes. And what assholes like to do is they like to lurk, right? And that's cool. But my personal dilemma, my personal struggle is handling it with grace, like a lady, I guess you can say. Because my first instinct would be to get upset, even angry. Maybe I'd even cry. I've actually cried a lot. And I'd say a good half of my tears are out of frustration. And I'm only talking about these specific situations where I'm dealing with a complete asshole, or more than one asshole. I'd say a fuck ass bitch if I really needed to categorize it, but I have to keep things here, see, because I'm Christian, right? So My challenge is not to think about things that happen to me and my family and loved ones. My family really summarizes it all. Not to think about things in a way that's going to adversely affect me or my family. That means like staying positive, not going down to the mud, putting my mind into the ditch. And some of this shit has been real fucked up. To summarize, lies, deceit, continued lies and deceit, backstabbing, playing dumb like a motherfucker, Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, I did. And in ways, I don't care if you act like you're dumb as a motherfucker, but doing stuff in a way that would potentially destroy my life because you want to act like a dumbass dick fuck asshole. See, I gotta chill, right? I gotta take it back here, have my cry, have my praise, pray up, and read. Because when you have people who you thought you could trust for a lot of years, nuclear family style, that wanna act like they don't know anything, and at the very least, interfere in your life. On top of that, when you've asked for help, them doing things to throw you under the bus so hard that there are no words that can describe that, Like me leaving it as a blank is the most accurate way that I could possibly describe those situations. Putting words to it would only cheapen the effect. So just use your imagination on that. So those people are part of everyone's life. My story is not so uncommon. People have been fucking with each other from the beginning of time. You go over to the Bible, and I know I must cuss a lot, but hear my point. Read the Bible about what happened to Jesus Christ when he was just trying to do good stuff, right? I'm not saying I'm Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that I'm only trying to do good things. But that was like one of the most explicitly documented accounts of someone being interfered with unjustly and repetitively, that ultimately led to death. A nasty death. Yeah. So, but it in turn led to salvation. So that's very nice. That's beyond very nice. But people nowadays have been dying because of people fucking with them. One example is how expensive hospitals are here in the States and how expensive medication here is in the States versus other places. The most recent thing that I read about was the FDA coming down on homeopathic remedies. But you guys will nuke the fuck out of somebody with some chemo, but you won't advise someone to take some turmeric. I'll give you an example of my my personal experience with these things. I had developed really bad eczema. From a baby, you know, I was told that I had eczema, right? And it got to a point where it got really bad. And I went to the dermatologist, and it wasn't my first time going to a dermatologist because of eczema. And I asked the dermatologist, you know, could you possibly, like, do you have any ideas about what I could do with my diet to help my eczema? And this bitch laughed at me. And I will call him a bitch because you're a doctor laughing at a patient, suggesting something that isn't so deep, but is obviously beyond your level of comprehension, you know? And it was actually the nurse that came to me secretly after my appointment and slipped me a little card about a natural method nurse or practitioner that she knew of. Later, and I'm no longer vegan, but when I did go vegan, all of my eczema disappeared. And then it was in tandem. It wasn't only the veganism, but veganism inspired me to have the strength to avoid wheat and gluten. Because I'm like, fuck it, I'm here. I'm already not eating the good stuff from my my opinion then and my opinion now. You know, I like the good stuff. I'm not so into the killing practices, at least here in the States, and some of the side effects of some of the ingredients. But going that path led me to saying, hey, let me try this. So it may have been the veganism, but I really think that it was the gluten situation, and my eczema went away. And now when I eat those delicious spicy ramen noodles and I have a cookie, or what else? Maybe a waffle? I don't eat that many waffles, but basically anything delicious and bready, like that croissant sandwich that I love that has sausage, egg, and cheese on it, I know that I'm going to have a little flare up. And it happens on my knuckles, on my hands and stuff. So, you know, it's not too bad, but I know what I'm getting myself into. But that's not something that this doctor with how many years of going to school could tell me. And he probably knew. But my point is that either he wasn't allowed to tell me, or he didn't know, or didn't want to tell me. The same thing happened when I went to the optometrist and I improved my eyesight. I said, oh, I found these exercises that I can do because my prescription had improved from the point and time that was at that doctor's visit from the one that was before, right? So I told them I can look at my hand really close and, you know, exercise my eye close and then look at the farthest point. And the doctor was just quiet. And my senses told me, this motherfucker knows what I'm talking about, but they don't want to tell me anything. See, there was a time where you could just trust your doctors. Or we were so conditioned. I don't know which one. See, in my part one, I was talking about that whole, I can't really distinguish the difference between the two. But there was a time where the doctor was like the know-all be-all. Now, it's not like that. It's not like that at all. They're going to dope you up. We won't even talk about that, what is it, Oxy and shit, like Vicodin, Percocet, that whole basically pill form heroin situation that's going on. No, we're just going to talk about it like it's an epidemic, but we won't talk about how the prescriptions started getting made to the frequency in which they were being made. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're just going to talk about we have a problem, and here comes the United States government like we're just going to save everything. I think I'm going to end it there. 3 sips of wine, some commentary. This is what goes on in my mind almost every single day of my life. Every day that I turn on the tube, the YouTube, or read an article on my phone, I'm seeing some degree of fuckery. And that's cool because the buck just didn't start. It's not ending here. It's been going on a long time, and this isn't the only place that it's happening. But my heart breaks when I see people's lives being devastated and cats coming down with sicknesses that I can see in my mind's eye that are directly related to the pollution that is being approved by the FDA. Political Talk Part 2 is coming to an end, and stay tuned for next time. Sorry if this lighting is really harsh. I think it makes me look older. I really do, but we'll see. See all this situation? Gotta make sure I don't sit on it, but part 3 may be coming up. So on that note, I'm just gonna go. I'm not mad. I just get fired up because I have 2 degrees. I have a middle degree, but when it comes to stupidity, I'm just like, why are you even here? But that's a deeper topic, and maybe one of these days I'll make a video about my opinion about it. But in the meanwhile, I'll just say bye. So bye-bye. See you next time.